Laughter and music drifting from the heart of Brandon into the nearby businesses and residents. A tinkle of a fountain and a flush of green compete against the rush of cars and the encroachment of the ever-expanding concrete jungle. A little slice of urban escapism in the middle of Manitoba's second largest city. Princess Park is not just the geographical heart of Brandon. This shaded green spot used to be the site of Brandon City Hall, a mighty brick building built back in 1891. The style and lack of modern amenities, coupled with a difficult upkeep, made sure the building was destined for a date with a bulldozer. In 1971, it came down and the city of Brandon decided to turn the space into the beautiful park we have today. As if to signify where the ghosts of Brandon's brick and limestone heritage were exercised, the fountain and benches were erected from the remnants of the neighboring Prince Edward Hotel, a local landmark that was built with regal pride in 1912 and removed from the skyline forever in 1980. Though the space of these once stately buildings has been repurposed, the echoes of old City Hall's demolished second-floor opera house haven't gone unanswered. The park is now home to an outdoor stage and plenty of music for everyone to enjoy.
Well, I didn't exactly know what it was, but I was walking down Princess Avenue and I heard music coming from wherever, and I kept on walking, and eventually I came upon this band playing at a park. I can't remember who it was, but I thought, this is really cool. Like, what is this? I didn't know there was a concert happening in Brandon. Like, I really enjoy going to local shows. Why didn't I know about this?
Check, 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 check.
It's kind of a magical spot here on a beautiful day like this. We got Oliver's making burgers, and the smell is kind of wafting throughout the park, and everyone's just having a great time.
We've got a great night of music from the Prince Eddie House Band. Some fine musicians and very refined gentlemen as well. You may have heard them warming up. They sound great. Everybody, the Prince Eddie House Band.
Thank you very much.
I met a duck the other day, said, how do you do?
I met a duck the other day, said, how do you do?
Now he just quacked and turned away, said, what's that to you?
I met a duck the other day, said, how do you do?
That ducky looked me in the eye, said, hey, what's new?
That ducky looked me in the eye, said, hey, what's new?
I said, I sure like apple pie, now how about you?
That ducky looked me in the eye, said, how do you do?
This is a great place, so long as the weather cooperates. I mean, we're vulnerable to the rain and the wind, but they always have very good, attentive crowds. People seem to be enjoying the music. It's a really nice venue. I'm not quite sure how we got involved with music in the parks. It was probably, well, it wasn't this band probably. It was a previous band I was in called Fingal's Last Pint. And we played music in the park several times, a couple of years before. When it was in Eleanor Kidd Park, we played there a couple of years, I think. So it's just something that we've been doing every year, I think probably since the Music in the Parks program's been in effect. Princess Park is probably the best place right now to perform outdoors. Queen Elizabeth Park is not not viable right now because of all the damage that was done by flooding. And we did perform once at the Riverbank Discovery Center, but it was pretty wide open and windy, and we didn't have the same engagement with the audience. They were kind of distant. Here, the audience is, well, there's some space, green space between us and the audience. At least they're paying attention, and we know that they're listening to us. It's a nice venue. I think having a downtown park it makes the downtown more accessible to people. There's lots of shade during the daytime. It brings people together downtown. It does that, especially for the Music in the Parks program. Probably it could be used more for other things. It might be a little underutilized right now.
I used to work in private home care, so I actually accompanied a couple of disabled gentlemen to the Music in the Parks, and that's actually one of the things that I really like about that idea, is that it's so accessible to everyone because it's just out in the open. We started playing music more for church because we do both go to the same church.
It started in church, just playing on Sunday, and it just, over time, about around grade 12, it really developed into, well, songwriting, and we just really started enjoying it, and we got a lot of positive feedback from people, so they were telling us, well, you guys should go on tour, and all this kind of wacky stuff, and so just kind of developed into songwriting. We thought, oh, maybe we should kind of try this whole band thing out.
Don't let your heartbeat pound a rhythm faster than your feet can walk. Just feel the syncopation in your chest. And if you feel,
I think Music in the Park is probably a stepping stone for a lot of artists in the local scene. It's kind of a good way to get your name out there. You can see see what the reaction is from the crowd, and kind of put that one on your resume. You know, if you want to get a gig somewhere else, say, well, we played this gig of Music in the Park in Brandon, and the crowd really enjoyed it. And you can talk to the staff of Music at the Park. I think it's it would be a really cool stepping stone for us, and a great experience to play in front of people that we probably have no idea who they are, and a completely different environment than back home here in Strathclyde.
Don't let your heartbeat pound a rhythm faster than your feet can walk. Just feel the syncopation in your chest. And if you feel you're down and out, look, just lift your head up and leave the rest to God and happenstance.
Pigeons living on my windowsill. Think I finally had my fill. It's time to give this city my goodbye. There's only money a man can lose, waiting that his dreams can turn to proof. Someday love might not.
Well, we've got our Summer Lights concert series, concert 2 of 3 for the summer happening here in Princess Park. We've got Del Barber and the Profiteers as well as Man Alive playing, but this afternoon we're doing something a little different. We've got a songwriting workshop led by Del Barber going on. He's talking to a lot of young songwriters in Brandon.
Cool. So what's your perspective on songwriting? What kind of songs do you write?
It's like a combination of folk.
I was asked to do a songwriting workshop with a bunch of young songwriters from the area, which is always, I do these things from time to time, and it's always a little bewildering because I feel like it's not a workshop where you can sort of carefully and completely describe how to do something. If you wanted to teach somebody how to make a cabinet, it was a cabinet making workshop, people would come with specific tools with specific expectations of making a cabinet at the end of it and having a better understanding of how to do that. But songwriting is something that's a bit more mysterious. And so I'm sort of asked to describe my process and try to help people discover theirs, you know? And I guess that's what the goal was today. Usually these workshops are done in really stale basements, some community club, and there's usually really bad like orange drink served and stuff. And this was a bit more sort of easy. It felt like we were hanging out like old friends would if you were on a lunch break in the middle of the day. You'd just walk down to a park, and if this was where I lived, and I worked downtown, this is probably where I would end up every day, you know? So I don't know, it felt pretty easy and comfortable. Pretty fun. And you can't help it. And that's the thing about being sincere. There's a difference between trying to be something you want to be and trying to be who you are. And I think artists are only ever good when they figure out a way to be honest with themselves. And that's hard, that's easier said than done. I don't really see a lot of poor areas, especially in smaller cities, that have kind of varied use green spaces. And that seems like something that is really important to people in big urban centers, but maybe not as valued in sort of smaller ones. And I think it's essential to any sort of good town or city, and it's really exciting that this one's actually used. There's been people here all day using it, doing different things, and I think the space itself is it's safe, but also there's a diverse clientele that uses it. I think that's what living in a city is about, is trying to figure out who you're bumping elbows with, who lives there. It's not homogenous. And so that's sort of the most exciting thing to see, I think, in a place like Brandon.
Right back in my arm. Yeah, there must be some way I can lose these lonesome blues.
Well, today we got to sit down with Del Barber, he's a good songwriter, and we just had a little workshop with him and some other Brandon artists.
Yeah, it was nice to sit down with Del. He's just because he has the experience in the industry now. He's toured. He knows a little bit about the business end of it, and so it's always just interesting for us who don't have any of that kind of experience to learn from other people's, and especially a guy like him who's pretty down to earth about it. I guess we're neighbors. Didn't even know that. But anyways.
With Music in the Park, unfortunately, we weren't able to get onto the roster. We found out that they had cut the number of performers that they were going to have this summer in half compared to last year. And I believe a lot of the performers that they have on the roster this year are ones that have done it in the past.
Yeah, I think it was just, we're kind of from out of town. I don't really have a name much in Brandon, so it made it a little harder for us to get into Music in the Park, but that's okay. There's always next year.
We're gonna be back to watch Del tonight. Be nice to hear him. He's heard him before, but
yeah,
I haven't.
I listen
so.
to him quite a bit, so I'll definitely be back. He's a really good songwriter, so definitely have to stop by. And last year I stopped by too, I think. Who was it? Take Me to the Pilot. They played here last year. I just, again, like Music in the Park, I just heard it. I didn't know it was on or nothing, I just heard it. So I came to it, and it was really good.
1, 2,
We have some good crowds, 300, 350 people coming out and enjoying the music and the concerts that they put on. It's quite very nice actually. Our city has some of the most beautiful parks, many of them. But Princess Park is one of the most beautiful ones for the fact that it has the fountain, many trees, it's clean, it's really nice. Earlier on, when we first moved here, it wasn't like that. We had our fair share of problems here. But it has changed. The last few years, it has changed tremendously.
The more events, the better. Just to be able to, there's some folks here that live in the very close vicinity. They don't have their own backyards. Maybe they don't even have air conditioning. So just to have a place to just go out and call it a little bit of their own yard, it's just really nice to be able to see them enjoy it.
your loved ones and apologize for thinking strange things. This is called fishing and wishing. All right. I got a pumpernickel pillow and a bed made of beer cans, chewing on mosquitoes and jerking like a madman. Thinking of you, hoping that you call me tomorrow. Cloudy and cold, but it hasn't really rained. I'm dreaming you're beside me, singing on the sea, out in the boonies, fishing and wishing with me. Trying to find a cure for my lonesome condition.